Did not have an executive session this evening, so I am calling the meeting to order at 7:01. And if everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board attached are the minutes of the executive session meeting held on August 6th, 2026, and the regular session minutes. No. Just for the executive session and regular session minutes of August 6th, please.
I'd like to make a motion that the board approve the executive session and regular session minutes of August 6th, 2026. Second.
Board, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, please place your vote.
Do you want me to reset it?
Lost my voting block.
So did I.
They lost their voting block.
Well, it went to financial reports.
What's
So,
that?
which one of you guys are doing financial reports?
Whoa.
Impressive.
That's the minutes. Okay, now we're good. Sorry, thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
We had too much power.
You're fine. I'll reset it.
There it is. All right, and that passes 7-0. Thank you, Board. Our
Okay.
next item on the
Yeah.
agenda is the financial reports, and that's up to
Sweet.
our new student board reps. Diana or Andrea, whichever you ladies, or if you want to split, it's up to you.
The first voucher is school education with a total voucher of $937,926.02. The next voucher is education form current material, $50,620.33. The next voucher is exempt operating post 2009, and that is $54,952.68. The next voucher is school operations with a total of $449,430.67. The next voucher is construction with a total of $17,488.13. The next voucher is school lunch with a total of $59,393.22. The next voucher would be self-insurance funds with a total of $819,021.32. The next voucher is community gifts and donations with a total of $542. The next voucher is building brickies with a total of $397.94. The next voucher is School City of Hobart Educational Foundation with a total of $17,371.95. The next voucher is Early Years Initiative Grant with a total of $26.46. The next voucher is Healthy Hobart, and that is a total of $497.92. The next voucher is City of Hobart with a total of $79,920. The next voucher is Save Supporting Addiction Free with a total of $1,600. The next voucher is Title I Part A with a total of $40. The next voucher is Title V with a total of $1,067.31. The next voucher is Clearing Accounts with a total of $274,503.29. The next voucher is self-insurance clearing with a total of $82,866.09. The next voucher is clearing / flexible benefits with a total of $82,672.96. And the last voucher is clearing insurance accounts with a total of $2,742.72. And the total vouchers would be $2,933,081.01.
Thank you, Hannah. Board, your pleasure.
I'd like to make a motion that the board approve payment of vouchers for August 20th, 2026.
Second.
Board, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Good job, Reader.
Way to go, Hannah.
Place your vote. Thank you, and that passes 7-0. Our next item on the agenda is the comments on agenda items. Are there any comments on agenda items from the audience? If not, next action is personnel. Dr. Buffington.
Board, in your packet, you have a copy of the personnel report ending on, for August 20th, I should say. You also have the ECA personnel report, and board action is requested.
And addendum.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and the addendum. I'm trying to find the addendum. There's so much there, I can't see it. All right, so you have a regular personnel report, addendum, and the extracurricular. Board action is requested.
Recommend the board approve the personnel report as presented.
Yeah, I saw AD and
I'll second.
add. That means add.
We have a
AD.
motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, please place your vote.
Let me just add something to thank Mr. Mock for this time of year, how much work that is.
Yep.
He's been incredibly busy.
Yeah, that and Pat Schoon, obviously, it's a joint effort. I also, if we're thanking people, one of the most difficult positions to fill was the athletic trainer position. And so Mark Lito was very instrumental in us hiring AJ. I think she'll be a great asset to us. So, lot of movement in personnel. I've always joked that it's 3 phases. I think it's 5 phases now. I've never had to hire people a week before school started, so it was very challenging. So hats off to everybody involved.
The new trainer is very good.
Yeah, she's excellent.
All right, and
I'm
then
glad she decided to make this her home, because she's really good.
Good. And that passes 7-0. Thank you, board. Our next item on the agenda is the introduction of our second high school student board representative, Dr.
That's
Buffington.
right. Well, we had the pleasure of Andrea being here, and tonight we have our full cast with Hannah joining us. And she just comes with so many credentials. She is definitely a leader in the school, and she wanted this to be another opportunity for her to demonstrate leadership. And I have no doubt the two of them will represent the student body and the rest of the students in the district very well, and we're excited to have you, Hannah. I know my fellow board members will talk about your interview, both of you. It's so difficult to choose a student board rep, and it was especially hard this time. And so that says a lot about you. And of course, Andrea, we welcomed you at the last meeting, so we're very glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
You did a great job on the financial report.
Would you like to say anything, Hannah, or do you want to wait till later?
I'll wait till later.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right. Our next item on the agenda is the recommendation to accept the donation from the Hobart Moose Lodge. Dr. Buffington.
That's right. We have our best friend out in the audience. I'm going to call him up. He just does an incredible job for School City. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing well. How's everybody?
Oh, we're good.
Hopefully we all survived the storm. I'm still working through it. I
Yes.
will give this to you. Unfortunately, we did this for the performing arts, and when we set this up, we got told that the band and the choirs were not interested. So it ended up being just the theater group. So we tried. We haven't been very successful with the performing arts with the bingo. So we tried a bags and bunco which we had done in the past, and we were very successful with it. Unfortunately, we only had about 30 people show up, and half of them were students who came toward the end to help clean up, so it was not attended well at all. We did make $500 for the theater group.
That's
And we
amazing.
present that, hopefully you'll accept it, and, we're not sure what we're gonna do next year. We gotta figure something out, and I'll probably be reaching out to you to get some ideas, but, the performing arts is not working as a group for whatever reason, it just hasn't for the last couple of years, so we're gonna try something different. We'll find something out, we're working on it, and then we'll get to you and see if it works.
Well, that's wonderful. And you know what I mean? Like maybe we have to do something different with that group and you got to give that spot to another person. You know what I mean? I mean, like in School City.
Well, one of the ideas we came up with, rather than doing it for, like, the performing group, just do it for Hobart High School. Just do it for all the students in the school, and maybe you guys could put it towards something academic or something along those lines. We're still figuring it out.
Well, you
The
guys
sports, it's very successful, and we don't want to mess that up.
Yeah.
But we also, there's a lot of other students we'd like to help. We can't do individuals for everybody, so we're trying to find something.
Right, and that was what I was recognizing, the fact that those are coveted spots.
Very
And,
coveted.
and, you know, I know athletics does do very well, as does HEF, Hobart Educational
Yep.
Foundation. We're just grateful that you do this for us. And I know this is like wallpaper for you guys, but.
Oh, it's beautiful wallpaper.
Yeah.
Thank you very
But,
much.
you know, every little bit counts, and, you know, even if it's $500, Bill, it's a lot.
We know.
And we're grateful for the opportunity to do that, so we wanted to say thank you to to you guys, because I don't know anybody in a community, their Moose Lodge does what you guys do for us.
That I don't know.
And so, I don't know either, but I just know that you're always there for us, you're always willing to help, and we benefit from that. And it's things that we don't have to worry about trying to take out of a budget that is so, like, tight. And we get to do those things because you help us.
And that's what we were thinking, maybe there's something the school would like to have, but it's not a need, it's more of a want, and maybe that's something we could help you with. So we're thinking about it, we're kicking ideas, but we'll be getting in touch before next season.
Well, I appreciate it. I know the board does too. And so I'd ask the board to accept the donation for $500 and give heartfelt gratitude to our Moose Lodge, because they're wonderful.
I'd like to also say, yeah, they do an amazing job. They give back in front of the community. Obviously, Hobart football, we do a lot with them. They sponsor some of our kids with our programs
Yep.
and things like that. They're just an amazing organization. And as we've talked to you before, you know, you guys need stuff. You reach out. Like, I got 100 able-bodied young men
We know.
that can come and all you got to do is give me a heads up, and we'll make sure we got kids there to help you out.
Yeah,
So you guys ever need anything done, we're here for you too.
really appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, you guys are incredible community members, and again, we can't thank you enough.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill.
With that, everybody, hope you survived the storm, we're done, we're fit, get.
We're hanging in there.
Get back, let's get the school year going.
That's right.
All right.
Hoping
Thank
on
you all.
Monday.
Well, before we go
Thank
far,
you.
Before we go far, I'd like to
Yeah.
make a recommendation that the board accept the donation of $500 from the Hobart Moose Lodge for the Hobart High School Theater Department.
Second.
Board, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I would like to say that you have, they say that when you have like animals or children or grandchildren, like when every time they see you, they relate something to you. Every time you're here, you bring us money. So you are way up here.
It's good to see you, Bill.
Always good to
No,
see you.
and we enjoy it, we do. I mean, the people,
We really thank you.
we got a group of about 20 people that are really diehard, we can count on, and this is what they're there for, so.
Well, you're
The
We
only
enjoy
thing
it.
that we're not gonna do with Bill Sidoris is build another playground. I will tell you that.
I'd be a lot
That
slower
was
now.
kind of fun.
I'd be a lot slower doing it.
Ah.
If you get one, we'll be there to help you.
We did it in 100-degree heat, and it's over there still put together, so we did something right,
Yeah,
right?
we did.
And we couldn't have done that without all of you. That's just the kind of people they are. It doesn't matter what you ask of them. Like our community build, when we put one of the playgrounds in at Joanne Martin, if it weren't for the girls softball folks and Bill, we wouldn't have finished that. We just wouldn't have. But, you know, that's what I'm just saying. We go way back. It's
Yep.
just a partnership.
That was a fun day. It was like, here's a box, here's a bunch of bolts, figure it out. And that's about where we started, so.
Bill, I just wanted to thank you and the Moose Lodge for being great partners.
Yes.
And for being excellent
Thank you.
on purpose. Because you are.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
Wish you all a great night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll-
Thank you.
We'll see you coming up soon again.
Yep.
Yes.
We have another one coming.
All right, Bill.
right.
God bless.
Thank
Take care.
you. And that passes 7-0. Thank you, board. All right. Next item on our agenda is the acknowledgement of the receipt of school extracurricular SA5 reports. Dr. Buffington?
Yes, board in your packet, you have a copy of our extracurricular account, fund balances, receipts, and expenditures. The report is called the ECA Risk Report, and it's used by the State Board of Accounts to develop criteria to examine extracurricular accounts. The Indiana State Board of Accounts states in part that a report of these ECA accounts, the SA5, be submitted to the school board after the close of each school year. So in your packets, you have a copy of the SA5 reports that were submitted in Gateway, and the individual SA5 reports for each of our schools is attached for review. I will say, this was a last-minute monitoring that we had right before school was getting ready to start. This was a major task to get these done at this time frame because they randomly tell you when they're going to do monitoring. And we're expecting it all the time, but you usually have a little leeway, and we didn't. So I would just say our bookkeepers did an amazing job getting these reports done and ready to go. And I would just ask that the board acknowledge the receipt of these ECA risk reports and review as required by Indiana code.
Thank you. Board, your pleasure.
I'd like to make a motion that the school board acknowledge receipt of the ECA risk reports for their review as required by Indiana code.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Board, any discussion?
Thank you for getting this together.
That's the bookkeepers. And Tracy Brumley, our treasurer, did an amazing
Is there
job.
one question?
Yeah.
I was trying to look for it. Does that include the concession stand?
It should be, that should be part of the high schools. I'd have to go,
There were a few little ones in there from
Yeah.
PZs, yeah.
it's on the high school
It
side.
is on the high school one. I couldn't tell you numbers.
I don't know the line number, but I
I
can find
can't
it.
either. And thank you, board, for that. Our next item on the agenda is the recommendation for emergency pay, August 2026. Dr. Buffington?
Well, it's a pretty incredible day when you think about Tuesday, when we had 500 people in the theater when this severe storm came through. And I'm going to acknowledge more about that in updates and reports on the opening of school. But you know, our classified staff, if you think about contractually, you have about 200 teachers, about 34 administrators, and then we have about 500 employees. The rest of those employees are support staff, and most of them live in Hobart. They have experienced hardships like everyone else has had, and they were counting on coming back to work for those paychecks. Now, I am also going to tell the board that, you know, I contacted the State Department immediately. You just saw the devastation and you heard every community, and the superintendents did band together, but of making Dr. Jenner, our Secretary of Education, aware of what happened here. And, you know, I'm not sure what they will waive. I'm not. And the point being is we budgeted for these people to be paid that amount. And this is not a risk for us as long as these employees understand that if I have to extend the school year or one of those days that they didn't necessarily think that they were going to work, they have been compensated for it. And the reason I look at it this way is that, I mean, like, this is 8 days of pay. And so it would, to say like, oh, take a day here or take a day there, that is a lot of money to our classified staff. Now, I would also just say the backbone of your school, in terms of running it, operationally, we can't function without these people. We absolutely adore our teachers. They are amazing, and so is this part of our organization. And I am recommending to you that we have pay forgiveness, and you will note the days that I have in there: August the 12th, 13th, 14th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. And depending on what happens with the waiver, we'll figure all of that out. Let's say that they cap 5 days. That would leave 3 days that I would have to make up. I've already looked at the calendar in great detail because I'm going to have to bring a calendar back to you and adjust it. So for instance, I can already tell you I will bring a calendar back and say we're going to work December 18th because I'm going to need to move the semester. It's not enough calendar days for us to get things in. And so I'll have to move the semester into January, and final exams will be, I think it's 11, 12, or 12, 13, 14, and then I'll move that records day to January 15th, so that I can balance out the number of days that are in a semester. And that's really important for our early college program as well, that I give them as much time to get their curricular items in. That being said, I will figure that out with this pay forgiveness. So for instance, that's a day that they will work, right? Because it wasn't on the calendar, they will have to work that day. You will note in the recommendation that I'm giving to you that I say that all employees that were budgeted for, if no waiver is granted, the staff has been compensated. And that's the way we'll look at it. I want to say, again, we have a great school district here, and I can't say enough about the people that work here throughout the district. But I think it would not be prudent for us to not pay people what they have been budgeted to be paid. And certainly, many of those people would have come to work could have they even gotten here, right? So I will just tell you that this will be a good gesture on our behalf to help our employees. And again, there's no risk here because if we do have to make those days up, the understanding would be that they've been compensated. So with that being said, I would ask that the board authorize regular wage payment to all of the employees that lost time that are on the support classified side with the dates that were mentioned to you previously. Board action is requested.
I'd like to make a motion that the Board of School Trustees authorize regular wage payment to all employees for the time lost on August 12th, 13th, 14th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Board, is there any discussion?
I have a question about the associations, did we have to contact them? Something like this?
The Teachers Association?
Oh, no, the Employees Associations and the NAPSR, do they have an association?
Yeah.
Wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other discussion, Board?
I can't believe that there's an employee in this system that hasn't worked extra hours enough to make up this many days. And they didn't get paid for them then, so they should get paid for them now.
Okay, I'm waiting for the votes here. All right, and that passes 7-0. Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
And our next item is the resolution authorizing grant of easement to City of Hobart. That would be Dr. Buffington and Mr. Longer.
I'm going to defer to Mr. Longer
Okay.
on this one, and I'll chime in if needed.
Board, you have this and the following resolution on your agenda. You will recall that we discussed at the last meeting the reconstruction project on Hickey Street that includes stormwater drainage improvements and the city's need for easements on Hickey Street and extending south for the stormwater drainage that they want to put in. You have two resolutions because you have legal descriptions for parcels where they need an easement, which is basically just the right to install their improvements and to access those. And then you have the parcel that's on Lawrence Street that they're requesting the right-of-way, which would be more of a transfer of that strip to the city. And so you have two separate resolutions, but both are intended to convey to the city the rights that they need to property currently owned by the school city so that they can install these stormwater improvements, which obviously will benefit not only the school city, but the members of the community as it improves the stormwater drainage in that area.
Board, that's also a part of our reconstruction of that parking lot, as you well know. We're wanting this to take place so that we can make that parking lot very beautiful. We've been waiting a long time for this.
With that being said, Mr. Forrest, if you would please read the title of the resolution as the entitled resolution is on the screens for the audience, please.
Sure. We have the School City of Hobart Board of School Trustees, resolution number 2026-27. A resolution authorizing grants of easement and real estate to the City of Hobart.
Thank you. Board, your pleasure.
I'd like to make a motion that the board adopt resolution 2026-27 pertaining to granting an easement to the city of Hobart in the vicinity of Hickey Street by Liberty Elementary School.
Second.
Board, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion before roll call vote?
Just thank you for putting it all together. Mr. Longer, I know it's a lot of details. Make sure.
Okay, Mr. Forrest, roll call, and Board would also place electronically, please.
Okay, David Josbury.
Aye.
Don Rogers.
Aye.
Brad King.
Aye.
George Schultz.
Aye.
Frank Forrest votes aye. Sandy Dillon.
Aye.
And Vicky Guthrie.
Aye. And that passes 7-0. Thank you, Board. Our next item on the agenda is another resolution authorizing the transferring real estate for the right-of-way. Mr. Longer.
I spoke to this briefly on the last agenda item. I will point out that although the Exhibit A to each of these resolutions is different, the legal descriptions, Exhibit B, which is the plat or the drawing that depicts the parcels we're talking about, is the same for each resolution. The city first began their efforts to acquire some of this property over 40 years ago, and there were a variety of reasons why that did not occur, but this piece that we're talking about, the right-of-way, is something that the city has expressed an interest for a number of years in acquiring so that it could be a public right-of-way and basically be a street. And doing so at this time facilitates the stormwater drainage project, but as Dr. Buffington mentioned, it also is consistent with our plans to reduce the amount of non-school traffic on the school property in front of Liberty, and reconfigure some of the traffic there at the school for the buses and what have you to minimize some of that non-school traffic.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Longer. And I would point out, when we talked about this at the last meeting, there was concern about the newly installed basketball courts. We reviewed it again with the city engineer, and they don't believe that there will be any damage to the basketball courts that are there. If they are, they will repair them. So I think we're going to be in good shape.
Very good. Mr. Forrest, would you please read the resolution title as the resolution is present on the screen for the audience.
Yes, we have the school city of Hobart, Board of School Trustees, resolution number 2026-28, a resolution authorizing transfer of real estate to the city of Hobart.
Thank you. The board?
I'd like to make a motion that the board adopt resolution number 2026-28 pertaining to the right-of-way to the city of Hobart in the vicinity of Beacon Street by Liberty Elementary School.
Second?
I might also mention to the board that in the past, the school city has conveyed to property owners near that right-of-way stretch the right to have an easement for ingress and egress so they could come and go to their property. And that includes the Lana Apartments over there as well as adjoining properties. And it's contemplated by this resolution that you're granting this right-of-way with the understanding that the rights of those property owners would not be adversely affected by the city taking it over as a right-of-way.
Board, any discussion? And if not, Mr. Forrest, would you do a roll call and the board followed by an electronic vote, please?
Okay, roll call, we'll have David Cosby. Aye. John Rogers. Fred King.
Aye.
Stuart Schultz.
Aye.
Frank Forrest votes aye. Cindy Hillen.
Aye.
And Vicky Gusky.
Aye. And that passes 7-0. Thank you, board. Our last, no, not last, but our next item is the authorization for the transfer of funds from the operations fund to the high school yearbook ACA fund. Dr. Buffington.
Board, in your packet, you have an authorization to transfer from the operating fund to eliminate the deficit that's in the high school yearbook extracurricular fund. And you may be asking, why is there a deficit there? Well, it's, it's many, I shouldn't say many, but several years of ordering too many yearbooks and not selling them. And so, I don't know if it's a lot of kids just take their own pictures, they don't want a yearbook. And so one of the things that we've looked at, and we've tried to sell them at discounted cost. And so basically, the solution to this is to go ahead and clear that balance so that they don't have a negative balance, but more so to correct the problem so it doesn't happen again. And so, when you see $35,000, that's $35,248.37. That's over the course of time, because really thought that they could try to sell some of them and get the money back, right? But it didn't happen. So I can't have that fund run in a deficit. Therefore, we will take from the operating fund and have a transfer upon your approval. And then going forward, we will not be ordering extra yearbooks. And so when people want a yearbook, you better place your order, because we're not going to have extra. And that's where you start getting yourself into these negative numbers. And, year after year, I've tried to watch this account, and hopefully, like, it's scaled back. But people just don't buy them like they used to. So even when you're cutting back, it's not enough. And so I said to all of them, it's time for you to tell people. I mean, like, if you don't order, you're not going to get one, because we're not going to order extra. So we'll order extra one for our library and one for the Hobart Historical Society, so that we always have an account of our history. But other than that, if kids want yearbooks, they have to place their order for them. So I would ask the board to approve the transfer as presented.
I'd like to make a motion that the board approve the transfer as presented and authorize the treasurer of the school city of Hobart to transfer $35,248.37 from the operations fund to the high school yearbook ECA fund.
I'll second.
Board, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
We always do communicate clearly, but if we could just make sure we put out extra communications to the parents, because I know there's going to be a lot of people who say, well, they've always bought them in the past. So we'll just have to drive that home really hard that
We will.
that there will not be extra.
And quite frankly, that's why they've always bought extra, because they know there's latecomers, and we just can't do that anymore. So we will definitely do that.
And that passes 7-0. Thank you, board. Our next item is the updates, announcements, and reports. This portion is the info with the opening of school. Dr. Buffington?
Well, first and foremost, I do want to say on the day of the storm, we had all of our employees here. And they were in the theater, and our district security team, as well as the SROs, the minute that went off on everyone's phones, I mean, I just needed to check the radar, and like it was coming. We immediately, the teachers are very used to going to a tornado area, but they're used to leading it. They're not used to being in it. And so I want to just say a special thanks to our district security team, administrative team, and SROs, because we were manning 500 adults that needed to be in a tornado zone. And they were there for about 90 minutes. And I will just say, when we step into our safety roles, I just say we perform at a very high level. And we were able to, we had a medical emergency that we had to take care of while we were in the midst of this. And then obviously people needing to get home and check their own homes, but we couldn't release them because it was not safe here. And you saw our employees that were able, and our SROs, clearing trees and keeping our barricades up where there were live wires down for us to be able to release people. And you know, I just cannot say enough about how people responded and how we were able to take care of our employees, because obviously everyone knows now it was like a hurricane category level 2. Category 2. So that's first and foremost. And then of course, just looking at the devastation that the community took and getting into high gear, and our responsibilities to our buildings and taking care of our facilities. So first and foremost, I do want to thank all of our custodial and maintenance staff, because we had major damage at the middle school. One of our air handlers actually blew a top off, and very sharp metal pierced like 3 different holes in the rubber membrane of the roof of the middle school. And what people can't imagine is that with that heavy rain, it was just gushing in the building. There were probably, I don't know, at one point 4 inches of water that Dan Rosenbaum, who's one of our maintenance engineers, just did an amazing job at the middle school. And we knew once we got over there, and working with the contractors in this community, they've done a lot of work here and at the facilities that we have. Can't say enough about Corellis and Circle R that immediately came out to the middle school to do that repair. And then every custodial engineer at all of our buildings, we sent them all to the middle school. And to imagine generators with cords hanging over doors to keep them out of water, helping us get rid of all the water that we had at the middle school. Currently, we will be clearing out, we cleared out 3 classrooms and relocated them, because when the final repair comes in, it will be loud, right? And we're gonna have a final repair over there. And then our food service department, going back to our custodial engineers, we cleared out all of our freezers and put everything at the middle school, at the high school and at Veterans, because we had generator power. You know, enter the mayor, I'm running out of gas in the generator at the high school, and we're like, hey, we're gonna lose things if I don't get gas. And so natural gas at Veterans, not the case here, it's diesel. He helped me with that, and we kept the generator going. And so that was important to us, because the minute we had power, we opened up 2 schools centrally located so that we could offer food to families that needed it. And that's not to mention all the different places and people that have been trying to take care of people. Just the hundreds of volunteers that has just been so heartwarming. And so our technology department, being able to communicate with people, Chris King in my office, as we're collecting information, I'm out working and trying to gather what's necessary and trying to get our technology secure. Russ Mellon, Chris King, I mean, literally, I had payroll due, we had bills to pay. We're running a business office out of the teacher's lounge at the high school off of generator power, thanks to Russ Mellon and Chris King. And Chris Connor here, that's jack of all trades. Ellen Burgers took care of us immediately. And I cannot say enough about Ellen Burgers, because if you drove by Joanne Martin School, it looked like a war zone with trees. And they came to us immediately. Obviously, a lot of trees down at the middle school, but our first course of action was at Joanne Martin. We took care of that, went over to the middle school. We have not removed the tree yet off of Corrigan, the building. I don't know if the building structurally will make it. That remains to be seen after we take the tree down. Right now, that's not one of our priorities, and so we're holding on to that spot. I will tell you, Lake County FEMA, we've documented everything to try to get reimbursed for a state of emergency. We included that building as a part of the estimate because we were just offering estimates. I don't really want to miss anybody, but I could go on forever about people that just did so much to get things done, because we still, what people don't see is the business side of what we have to do, and I could not have done it without my office and technology, so that side being taken care of. I want to just, and I try to emphasize this in every communication, you cannot say enough about our city, the mayor, the city council, and public works. If you drive into other communities and look at what happened in this community and the efforts of cleanup and working with our transportation department, using the GIS system and pinpointing where we know there's no way we're getting a bus down this area. So our drivers were in Monday. We drove everything. We pinpointed it. We have it on the GIS map. And again, Public Works going to work to help us do that. It's very difficult when you don't have all of your buildings having power and people are wondering why you don't have school. Well, if you don't have power in your buildings, you can't come to school. And trust me, we want kids back as soon as possible. We still remain one building shy of not having power. By the way, we did not have phones. Comcast, their main hub that needed repair was in Gary, and Russ spent hours trying to get them to get us back online. We came back online today, I'm going to say about 4:15, so that's all good. On the way here, my NIPSCO liaison took care of the Liberty parking lot. I'm grateful for that. And they're working on the Early Learning Center, so I'm very hopeful for that. My intent is to bring the Brickies back on Monday. Teachers will be here tomorrow morning for a half day of professional development, and the Brickies should be back on Monday. I cannot say enough about the city, the volunteers, and just the outpouring of our Brickie students that have gone out and have done things. The Hobart Food Pantry. And we had a list of almost 87 families that could not do for themselves. And the food pantry answered that call. And quite frankly, we couldn't have done it without them. And Chris King was my helpmate on Saturday as we're watching the entries come in, making sure that we identified if it was food that we could get to them. And so people just don't realize all the coordinated efforts that so many people have put forth. And this just shows me that this is a community that is the friendly city, and people do come out for one another. They show up for one another, and that's what it means to be excellent on purpose. And so I cannot express enough gratitude for every individual that has played a part in helping us rebuild, clean it up, and get back to normal as much as possible. To the people that still do not have power, we realize how awful that is. Like I know some people 9 days, 8 days, 9 days. And like just even knowing over on Liverpool, and you look at in that area, I mean, NIPSCO was knocking door to door, and they might not have power till Tuesday. And so it's still our intent with whatever we can do to help any individual that reaches out to my office or the city, and what can we do for them. And so I am in awe of what I saw. And we should be proud of everyone that has come together. And it can get a little at the end where you might not feel good about everything, but you should, because it's been nothing short of a miracle. When I looked at Tuesday, and Russ Mellon reminded me it was a week, it was hard to believe that a week had passed, and so much had been done. I will say this in my concluding remarks. When you're out in it every day and you're all across the community, you get to see the totality of what was done, right? If you're in your neighborhood, you may not see it. You just see your neighborhood and you're grateful for your neighborhood. I can tell you what I've seen because I'm out there every day, and every day the progress was so incredibly good. And it could not have been done without our city and the public works. Incredible. And I'm just so grateful to them. We should be back on Monday, and I will be sending that communication out very soon, maybe as soon as tomorrow. Our bus fleet will be out tomorrow in full force. We've driven it one bus every route. Thank you, Holly Shelton and Joni, one of our bus drivers. Tomorrow, the whole fleet will be out. And so we're in good shape. And again, could not have done it without everybody doing their part. And if you want a great place to live, and the people that are in this community, this is the place to do it. And this is the place to have the kids come to school. There's a lot of pride here. So thank you for that, and that's my update.
Thank you, Dr. Buffington. Mr. King?
Well, I echo everything Dr. B said. It was great to see in the one piece she sent out all the pictures of the kids in the community coming together. I mean, it really does show what Hobart is and what our kids can do to help out there in the community and work together to make things better. I can say, this is a time of year where I work very late, many days in the office. But man, the transportation department, they've been there every single day late. Becky and the other ladies up front have really just been putting a lot into making sure that the buses will be ready when it's time, and making sure that everything's safe. And then I think, we have to just recognize Dr. Buffington. She can list 1,000 groups and 1,000 people, but she's there constantly coordinating all of that, working with everybody to make sure that everything's ready to go. And I hope people, recognize that, everything that she's doing and that we're doing is all about the safety and the wellness of the kids. So, calling school off is tough, but bringing them back is, making the decision of when is important, and it has to be safe, and we have to be ready so that the kids have a good, safe place to be. So thanks, Dr. B. We appreciate it. And for anyone else, I am one of those people who don't have power. So for all those that also don't, I hope you relieve soon. I'm looking forward to the time my lights come back on. It'll be nice.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. And I would be remiss to not thank the National Guard. Tremendous effort on their end as well. And of course our utility workers, I know people aren't happy with them right now. and Godspeed to them that they get people's power back up. And I forgot to mention those two groups because they're significant. I do want to say, you know, one of the things that, as Chris mentioned with transportation, when we brought the drivers in, we knew that they had to go out in their own vehicles. I wouldn't let them take buses out. And we compensated them for their mileage, but we collected, we had them go in tandem and they took notes. We entered it into a spreadsheet. Russ Mellon being by my side with transportation, that's why they were working so late. They entered every area that was a problem spot. And of course you can imagine, it was enormous. And then overlaying it with the GIS system with the city. And so, you know, I'm here to tell you that it was cleared today. All those areas were cleared. And that's thanks to Public Works. It's really just been a tremendous effort. But this is also showing how the city and the school district works as a partnership. And we respect the leadership and all of the workers. And so, yeah, thank you for recognizing them again because it was a lot of hard work.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Longer?
One thing that is kind of unusual about this storm that we've had is that the way it interrupted communications, there are a lot of people that are unhappy about the hardship that they've been exposed to as a result of the storm, but they don't understand the magnitude of the effort made by the city and the school city and the utility workers and everyone else to try to correct the problem because they can't turn on the news and see what's going on. They don't have the communications or didn't to follow the progress from the first day forward. And so I think maybe some of those people that are still unhappy, it's because they don't realize the magnitude of the effort that's been put forward. On my street, I got power back yesterday after 5 o'clock. And I really appreciate the efforts of the crew from north of Detroit that came in to assist. And we had a crew, several trucks, working all day to try to restore power. And they had no idea where they were going to sleep that night because, you know, they were working all day and then they were going to figure it out. It was, you know, impressive, the effort. You know, they understood, you know. The other thing I would mention, when I was young and I became old enough to work, my dad gave me some advice and he said, always earn more than you're paid. And from what I hear this evening, it's clear that that's what we have with the employees of the district. And so taking care of them on the days that they missed, you know, that's not a gift, that's an investment.
Correct.
You know, that's an investment in employees that have always gone the extra mile.
Yeah,
and so,
they're wonderful, wonderful people that work here. Couldn't agree more.
Thank you, Mr. Longer. Are there any comments from the audience? Thank you. It was brought to my attention that I did skip an item, but we're going to go back to that here shortly. Board, if you would like to join me in what we discussed the other day. And this is for Dr. Buffington and on our left.
Thank you very much. These folks didn't miss a beat. And so, again, just truly grateful. Thank you.
And that is our sincerest gratitude for you, Dr. Buffington, and your leadership and the staff below you that carried out all this work tirelessly to help make our buildings ready and to get our students back safely. Although we know that it hasn't happened yet and there's still more work to do, it is because of your leadership and their hard work that we so deeply are, just our gratitude to you and to them.
Well, thank you, and I will express that. I mean, incredible team. Lots of time and effort, but couldn't do it without them. And I don't know, people think that we're kind of kind of crazy, but we do think of ourselves as a big family. And we talk to each other all the time. And so I probably talk to Chris 10 times a day. But could not have asked for better people to just do their jobs and do it with extreme passion to help us get through this. So thank you for your support. But, you know, I'd be remiss not to say, like, Ryan Snedeker, you know, my administrators, Becky Rosenbaum, Chris King, and then, of course, in my office, Becky Williams, Abby Arthur Holtz, Rebecca Froman, I mean, like, and Judy Henry, Bree, John Mock. I mean, like, it just so many people that are incredible at what they do. And it's just a bunch of coordination. And if it's coordinated correctly, we can pull it off. And I don't think there's anything that we couldn't do to pull it off. And that's where we just say sincere gratitude. That's when we talk about our support staff. They are just like these individuals when they're here, right? And so it's with pleasure that we pay them, right? But thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We intended to put a V-up sign in your house with a big light on it, but we weren't sure you had any power.
Well, I can say is I ran home to grab a bite to eat, and my husband's like, I hate to tell you this, but looks like the tree is definitely going to have to go. Because we noticed a little crack in this tree, and like he goes, I think it's a little deeper. And you know, like you're not really looking at that stuff when you're here. He's like looking at it, and he's like, what do you think? I'm like, ah. And so guess who will be hiring Ellenbergers out at their house? And it's necessary, but you know, you just think of all the blessings that nobody was hurt, you know, and I have to look at it that way, that this was such a severe storm that there could have been loss of life, and there wasn't. And so I am grateful for that, but thank you for all of your support, because it means a lot, and it, you know, like we're just so anxious to get kids back, and they're almost here, so. Can't wait for you guys to start your senior year.
All right. Mr. Pasby?
The student board rep, Diana, welcome. Excited to have you, and work to what you bring to the table from the student body. So excited for that. Again, thank you to everybody and all the work that you guys have put in over the last 10 days to get back here safely. It has been very impressive to see what's happened in the community, from the city to the school city to our kids out there working and helping families and neighborhoods and coming together. It really does show what it means to be a Brickey. And tomorrow night's first football game. Chesterton, come out with bricks.
All right.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Mr. Rogers?
I was part of the food pantry people. I got a call out in the morning and said there were 35 families that needed food. Could we get there and pack the bags? And so I went and helped pack the bags. But what amazed me more than anything else was the guy that pulled up to take the bags was the mayor. The mayor backed his truck up, put the bags in there, and I don't know who he took them to deliver them. And then we got a call yesterday, I don't remember what days are anymore, but that they needed 89 more or something like that, and they were packed and ready within an hour.
Okay, so I will tell you how all that happened. The mayor called me Friday night, and he was like, what do you think? And I'm like, well, I'll send it out to the 4,000. You know, like there's 4,000 students. I will send out if you have needs beyond what you can provide for yourself, right? And so Chris King and I were at work Friday night, and he helped with the survey. We got it together. We didn't want to wake people up. We sent it out at 9 o'clock, and it started populating. And so Chris was watching it. I'm communicating with the mayor, and then we realized that, wow, we're going to need help with this. He wasn't. I don't think he was like wondered. I think he thought it would be just a few, you know, because there were other places doing things, and it wasn't. And so we had to keep track of it. and the addresses, go in and sort it. If they needed just food, some people needed more than that. And so he's like, well, I can take care of this. So I called Karen Robbins and I'm like, we need help. I don't think that we thought they would go other places. And so Chris kept monitoring. I'm on with Karen, then I'm on with the mayor. Then we start looking at like addresses. And then people didn't put their right addresses on. They were incomplete. So I'm on with Chris, I'm on with the mayor, I'm on with people that are trying to deliver. And then the next day it repopulated and we had over 84 names. And so then we're right back at it. And of course with the food pantry. And so I couldn't have done all of that without Chris and Karen and the food pantry and the mayor and his crew. We took care of 80-something people that could not do for themselves. And I'm really proud of that effort. It was kind of dicey there on Saturday morning. We were like, what is happening to us? Because it started populating so fast. And but people had some other needs that the mayor was taking care of. So that was really fantastic that she could get you guys to come and do that. So hats off to the food pantry. You've been in my gratitudes that I've sent out to people too. We couldn't have done it without you. Very important.
I will say the only problem is this morning we had a normal load. I think it was like 70 families we delivered to. And the only problem that I had, because I was alone out in the parking lot because two of the outside people were sick. So I was handling parking and passing out the paperwork, collecting the paperwork and taking it inside, which was all right. But the problem was everybody has been boarded up so much that everybody wanted to talk to me and tell me their stories. I had time to listen to their stories.
It's true.
That is true.
I'm glad everybody was alive to tell me their stories, but I think
You should tell me that next time because we'll send some kids your way.
I have used some kids.
Yeah. If you know that, I can get kids for you quickly. So let me know. Let me know.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Mr. King?
Well, I'll tell you that being in a work environment where there's people from all around the region, because we obviously have worked inside the mill, we closed the entire time that it was powered. But having people, coworkers from Griffith, from Dyer, from Munster, from Hammond, all around, I will say that your leadership and the mayor's leadership has not gone unnoticed, for sure. There are so many people saying how jealous they are of the leadership that we have here in Hobart, and it is shining through because people are saying, I wish our mayor communicated the way yours was. I wish our mayor was out doing the things yours. I wish our schools and our superintendent were doing the things that yours are because we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's happening with this. So it has impacted us and our kids, but it has reached out to other communities as well. So you guys have set a very high bar, and we're very glad you're here doing it for us.
Yeah, thank you. The mayor deserves so much credit. I mean,
It really blew my mind when he made the post of his daughter going down to college and going away, and it's something that I would want to be there for them. I would want to drive her down and move her into college, her first year in college, and he did. He was here. He was taking care of the city, and that
Yep.
struck me right in the heart. So.
yeah, true dedication, commitment, hard work.
So that's really just what I want to say about that part. I won't go too much more. I'm going to give whoever had a writer's grant. From NISEC, I just want to say that the meeting was fairly normal. The last time we met was yesterday. It was pushed a week because of the storm. They're still struggling because out of the 7 schools, only 2 are open. Only 2 districts are open. So they're trying to figure out when they're going back based on all of these other schools to make sure when they're going back, when they're going to be sending kids.
She did communicate she's going to go back Monday. So I hope that the rest of those schools can come back on Monday.
I hope so too.
I don't know if they will. So
And then that's the only meeting I've had since our last meeting. So I have no other report.
Okay.
from a student point of view, I remember when the storm hit on Tuesday, and the first thing that went to my mind is, how are you gonna get to school on Wednesday? And I know that for many, I've seen social media, everyone's like, when are we starting school? All the dates are changing. NIPSCO's like power outage. When is everyone gonna get the full restoration? And I know that we just have to get used to that. It's different, it's change, and like for me, I'm excited to get back to school. I'm ready to get back into it, and yeah, that's it. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's putting in the hard work. Like I know Skyward, like the new change in Skyward, honestly, I think it looks great. It looks really good.
Wow, thank you, Andrea. That's awesome.
I have seen it. I think it's a bit of a change, the schedule. They have the look for the schedule, but I think it honestly looks way better, updated, more modern. Because before it was outdated. But I think it looks great. And I know that I've seen on social media, people are like, I don't understand, there's so many buttons. I don't know where to go. But I think honestly, I appreciate that for community service hours, I can actually see how many hours are actually put in. For my opinion, I don't know about anyone else, but I think it's great. And honestly, I'm excited to get back to school hopefully Monday. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, good. And do realize that Skyward update was a mandatory update. And so, but Mr. King, on top of all this other stuff, has been manning that conversion. And he's just done a great job. Thank you for recognizing that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Firstly, I would just like to thank Dr. Buffington and the entire board for this opportunity. I'm very excited to be working alongside Andrea and being a representative for our entire school and to be working with the board to learn more this year. I'd also like to add on to what Andrea said. I think the efforts after the storm on Tuesday have been tremendous, and I honestly think while it was devastating for many people and many families, I think it has brought our community closer together. And I think even though it has been confusing over when we were starting school and stuff like that, I believe that it has brought our community together, and I believe it'll be great in the long run to come back to school. I myself am excited to come to school and start my senior year, and I know my friends are too, and we're so excited to come back and get the school year started. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Nina. Mr. Forrest?
Well, I'll start from okay, so I would like to thank the communication that from the school city and the city have both provided. I think it kind of eases a lot of residents knowing what's going on, even though they might not agree, like, what's going on as far as why it's taking something so long. Being in the loop is very important, and so communication is very needed. And secondly, I'd like to thank the leadership of both the school city and the mayor and the student council. Because everything that took place was because it started from the top, kind of filtered its way down. And the residents, as I was driving home that same Tuesday, took me like 3 hours to get home from. Okay, but it seems like everybody has a chainsaw nowadays. So they were like out on the street, kind of clearing out the trees so the cars could pass by. And so I was really impressed with that. They were out there on their own, trying to clear the roads. And going to New Chicago and Lake Station, same thing, Portage, same thing. And then finally made it home to Hobart. And it was nice to be home. And the first thing I did was help out my neighbors around the block because I had like a little small electric chainsaw. It actually worked pretty good. And then I called my buddy, Bob Ellenberger. He came over with a big chainsaw. So we cleared out some more trees. And so by helping each other out, like it's been mentioned already, it brought our community closer. I met neighbors that I usually don't meet or talk to so often. And we'll just come out stronger through this.
Thank you. Dylan?
I'd like to start by congratulating you. And Andrea did that last time too, but we're glad to have both of you here and look forward to working Here. You gave me a lot of encouragement by hearing you talk about, you don't hear kids talking about, I can't wait for school to start. But this year's a little different. You do, I'm sure you're hearing that from your daughter. I can't wait for school to start.
And let's say it wasn't like that the Tuesday of the storm, but now it is.
Right, but now it is, because it's something we want to get started, you know, so best wishes to everyone on the start of the school year, because I know it's going to be an exciting time for you. Cherish every moment.
Thank you.
In addition to all the people mentioned, I happen to live across the street from a Hobart police officer as well, and it blows my mind without communication how it's changed for the police and fire in our communities, that they have gone, they're writing down reports on paper and coming back and entering them into a computer where they have the internet, and they're working around the clock. They have double shifts going so that they're patrolling the streets where there is not any power. So I'm very appreciative of that.
Yes.
And as well as with the fire trucks, they have been up and down our street just checking on people, which, wow, I feel like I live in Mayberry sometimes. It's a beautiful, you know, but just the community coming together, and cross communities, I've seen that as well. So thank you, Dr. Buffington, and your team. Definitely was a team effort, and to our city as well.
Yeah, you know, and we should thank, like every community's athletic director and our coaches. It was so difficult. You know, did not want to put burden on people with, is the wires live or not live, you know, and making sure that safety is paramount, but, you know, that's easy to get a few people back, right? It's not like bringing 4,000 people back. And so our coaches did a great job, athletic directors across Northwest Indiana, because it was like, do you have power? Do you have power? What's it like trying to get to your place? And like, okay, can we move it here? Can we move it there? There was a lot of coordination behind the scenes there. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that you got to get in 8 practices before you play. And so, you know, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes with that people don't understand, because that could hamper the whole season with some people if they don't get their practices in. So as soon as it was safe in most of the districts, we all allowed it because we knew what was at risk there. But we didn't make it mandatory. You had to determine what is good for your family and your safety, because we didn't know where you live unless you tell us, right? So I do appreciate that, because that's another unknown factor that people, sometimes they're like, well, why do they get to come to school? Because there's only 70 of them, you know, and they have to look at their risk assessment to get there. But let's not lose sight of the fact that they don't get to play without 8 practices. So really grateful for the coaches, athletic directors in the region. It's not just Hobart, but the region, because we all had to be talking with one another.
Very good, thank you. I want to start by saying that really I am still without power, just so, not that everybody needs to know that, but I am still without power. But I want to say that I'm thankful. It seemed like everything that fell at my house was around things, and I think the only damage I have is to a gutter. So thankful, gratitude, and being without power really makes you learn how to be patient. Although sometimes I wonder if I'm actually going to learn how to churn butter in my backyard and do laundry out of a tub. I don't know, but I have been very fortunate. I'm just fortunate. Everybody in my home is safe. Is it hotter than Hades in my house? Yes, but it's okay. We're going to make it through just fine. And I just hope that that's some of the lessons that people have learned over the past 10 days is some patience and gratitude. And lastly, as Hannah's put it very well, the cooperation and the networking and just the helping of each other. That is what Hobart is about. And I am not a lifelong Hobart person. A lot of people think I am. I am not. I've only lived in Hobart for 30 years for the time I've been married. And it wasn't my top choice for a community, if I'm being honest. But the way I have seen this community come together in the last 10 days, I am very proud to say that I am now a Brickie. And very thankful for the leadership of the city, very thankful for the leadership of our school, and very thankful for the relationship that we have with each other. Because without that, we would not be as far as we are. So that is the end of my comments. And then since I skipped school information, that's going to be next.
Well, we're looking at Monday. I'm pretty sure our buses take those runs tomorrow, and I'll be communicating right after that, after our PD day. Other than that, the one that's I'm still kind of like, my NIPSCO person said he will let me know tonight about the Early Learning Center, so let's all pray that we get power there. But other than that, we have back to school nights scheduled. Those are going to be happening too. People receive parent squares for those, and we know it's just a little bit different. I will say, once you get back, it'll be fine, and it'll be behind us, and we'll move forward. And I do realize that I started thinking this to myself. This will be compared quite a bit to COVID, just simply because I know our students were heavily impacted by that. So these will be stories that they like to tell, and I hope that they realize that we can do hard things, right? And so it's by coming together that we can do hard things, and that's what makes us unique. So that's why we're excellent on purpose.
That's right.
But other than that, we're ready to go.
All right, very good. And with that announcement, I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, everyone.